Hello, and thank you for clicking on this video. My name is McKenna, and today I'm going to do a plant tour and show you all of my plants. I do have a little bit of a disclaimer though. I live in a shared space, so instead of taking you around the room and showing you the shelves that they're living on and whatnot, I'm just going to display them right here next to me and talk a little bit about them. That way I'm not really invading my roommate's space, and that way you could just see the plants a little bit more up close and personal. So if you'd like to see my plants or learn a little bit more about me, just go ahead and keep watching this video.
Knowing you and we did before we get too far away, I need to clear my mind.
Here I have a Brazil philodendron. This was a cutting that I took from my mother plant that I'll show you a little bit later, but it's a little bit droopy right now. It is a little bit dehydrated. I need to go ahead and water it. But yeah, it's getting pretty good. This is about, I would say, 8 or 9 months old. I took a few different cuttings and then just put them in the pot, and it's filled out quite nicely. Here I have a zingonium, otherwise known as an arrowhead. I'm not quite sure what type of zingonium this is. I received this from my grandmother, so it didn't really come with a label. It was just a cutting, but it's gotten pretty big. It's about a year old, at least since I've had it, so it's a little bit more established now. Here I have a jade plant. This I actually received for my birthday last year from my housemates that I was living with when I was going to school. It's just a cute little jade plant. It has filled out quite a lot. It's a little bit more substantial now that it's a little bit older. Here I have another jade plant. This is actually my oldest plant that I have in my collection. It's about 3 to 4 years old now. I actually received this from one of my coworkers at a summer job that I was working at, and I've had it ever since. Yeah, I mean, it's, nostalgic, a little bit sentimental, so that's kind of why I keep it around. And it has been growing quite a bit lately and putting out a lot of new growth, so I'm very happy with it. It's a funky little guy. It's a succulent, but I'm not quite sure exactly what kind of succulent. I received this from my grandmother, and she wasn't too sure what it was. But it is a cute little guy. It's a little rosette kind of looking thing right here. It does grow a little bit weird. I'm not sure if you're able to see, but there is quite a bit of roots coming out of it. I think that I might just go ahead and chop it so it's a little bit less stretched out. I have a cactus. You can't really tell too much from the top here, but if I move the pot over a little bit, you can see it's a cute little guy. Not too much to say about it. I think that it's been doing a little bit better now that I'm in a different environment. Before, I was living kind of in a coastal and cooler climate, so it wasn't growing as much, but since I've been back in a more arid area, it has been filling out a little bit nicely and growing quite a bit more than it was before. Here I have another cactus. It doesn't have as many spines as my other cactus does, and for some reason I can't really get it to grow that many spines, so I'm not sure if that has to do with environmental factors or just the type of cactus it is, but it's in this nice, cute little turquoise pot. I have another little succulent. Again, received this from my grandmother. She does have a pretty large garden, so she does give me a lot of babies, especially succulents, because those are the types of plants that she prefers. Here I have another succulent, and like the last, I received this from my grandmother. I'm not sure if you're able to tell, but it does have quite a bit of babies coming in at the bottom, and it's starting to fill out. I have had this for about a year now, so it's gotten quite a bit bigger. Here I have another unknown succulent, and I'm not sure if you can see, it does have a few branches and a lot of new growth starting on it. I have some string of pearls. I just have one little leg coming down, but there you can see it's quite a bit in the pot. This was a cutting that I received that I decided to water propagate, and then once it had a substantial root system, I decided to pot it back up. It has been doing pretty good lately. I potted it about a month ago, and now it's starting to get quite a bit of new growth. Some new pearls are starting to grow on it. I have one of my bigger plants. This is a spider plant. It does have quite a few babies here at the bottom. I actually got this It's kind of weird. I got it from my parents' front yard. So there's a few of these actually planted in our front yard on kind of like ornamental grass. And I decided to take one. Well, my dad let me have it because I decided, you know, I already have them at home. I might as well have one instead of going out to buy it. But yeah, I love it. It's kind of one of the first bigger houseplants that I got, and it has filled out a little bit and given me quite a bit of babies that I've propagated and made new plants with. I have a philodendron imperial red. It's another one of my bigger plants. It does have some new growth on it. It has this new leaf coming in right here. And then this lighter green leaf is the newest one that unfurled. Philodendron are my favorite kind of plants. I kind of like the whole genus as a whole. So you'll notice that I do have quite a bit of philodendrons in my collection. So here I have an alocasia ivory coast. It does have quite a few leaves on it and some babies coming in. Very beautiful plant. I got this for my birthday and I decided to get it because I don't have any other alocasia, and I decided that this was kind of a good way to start. Here I have a Hoya pubicalyx. It's a silver splash variety. You can tell kind of by its white variegation that it has on its leaves. At the bottom, it does have some new growth right down there. This one is pretty low maintenance. It's very easy to take care of. I just put it about 3 feet away from my window, hanging on this macrame hanger, and then just water it whenever it gets completely dry. Here I have just a pot that has a bunch of miscellaneous cuttings that I have from a bunch of my philodendron. So there are some heartleaf philodendron here, there's some Brazil right in this corner, and then all the way at the back we have some neon philodendron or lemon lime philodendron. And yeah, I just put a bunch of them in here, just kind of because I wanted to, you know, just have a mix of them, just have a little bit of a variety. And it's doing pretty well. It has a lot of new growth, especially the heartleaf philodendron cuttings have really taken off. The same with the Brazil right there. The lemon lime philodendron, I kind of I'm having a hard time with getting it to grow. It does have some new growth points and it has put out a new leaf, but it is taking a little bit longer than the rest of them. I have my neon philodendron or lemon lime philodendron. This is the mother plant that I got the cuttings that I put kind of in that blue pot that had the mixture of cuttings in it. And it is a little bit bald on the top. I did buy this from a nursery that was local to where I was going to school. And this plant has always been giving me trouble. It doesn't put out leaves very fast, and it takes quite a while for the leaves to unfurl when it does have new growth points. And I think that just because this is a lighter colored plant, it does sunburn quite easily. So when I first got it, I couldn't really treat it like my other philodendrons, and I had to keep it farther back from the window because it did sunburn pretty easily. Yeah, I kind of wish that this one would fill out a little bit more like my other ones and get a little bit more growth on top. So I have been starting to propagate it and then plug it back into the pot to hopefully fill it out a little bit more. So here I have another cutting from my mother plant of the Brazil philodendron. This one is just a really small single leaf cutting that I put into this terracotta pot, and it's actually been doing pretty well. It has put out a lot of new growth, and it did come out with a new growth point right here. So it does look like there's 2 cuttings in the pot, but there's only 1. But yeah, I think that it's a really cute little plant, and I can't wait for it to start trailing over the side of the pot. Another cutting from my mother Brazil philodendron, and this one I kind of like that it's a single leaf cutting, and it's gotten quite a bit bigger than it was when I first planted it off. It's grown quite a few leaves, and it does have some new growth points right here at the tip. But yeah, it's an overall pretty cute plant. The leaves have got a little smaller as it started growing out as compared to its bigger leaves. So I'm hoping that it starts to fill out a little bit more and put out some bigger leaves. But otherwise, I love it just the same. Here I have the mother Brazil philodendron that I was talking about. I have taken quite a few cuttings from them and given them to friends or just made some baby plants for myself. It is a little bit long. It does have some new growth and it's starting to fill out pretty nicely. It is a little bit bald at the back. The way that I had it hanging and the way that I've had it displayed since I got it, it wasn't getting a lot of light to the back. So I'm kind of trying to turn it around to kind of get these little ones on the back to start trailing down. I have a silver splash pothos. That's what it's labeled as. I do think that it looks a little bit like an exotica, but I'm not sure. I'm just going off the label. It is pretty long. It's got a lot of new growth here at the bottom, and like my philodendron Brazil, it is a little bit bald in the back, but I have been giving it a lot more light. Here I have a really special plant to me. This is one that I got for my birthday as well, and this is a pink princess philodendron. So the way that I potted this, I kind of made a mistake and I potted it a little too far down into the pot, so you can't really see it from the top, but if you do turn it over, you can see that it does have quite a few leaves. They haven't really been putting out a lot of pink. They do have some speckling, and like this one right here, they do have a stripe. This one had the most variegation on it, but my cat knocked over the pot and it did kind of make the leaf a little bruised. It's a little damaged right there, but otherwise it's a pretty good leaf, so I haven't really felt the need to cut it off. But yeah, and this one right here does have a little bit of a speckling. This, I'm not sure what that was, if that's like a sunburn mark or something, but that came when I got the plant. And it has been putting out quite a few new leaves. This is the newest leaf right here, so it is a little bit lighter green, and it does have a little speckling on it as well. Here I have a philodendron micans. When I originally got this plant, it was actually two small 2-inch pots, and I decided to plant them together because I thought that it would look pretty cute and like in a 4-inch pot and a little bit fuller. It has nice velvety leaves, and right now they're all single leaves. It hasn't started to vine off yet, but I'm excited for when it does. I really love trailing plants, which is probably a common theme in this video already. But yeah, I haven't really seen too many of these locally, so when I did find it in my local nursery, I decided to pick it up. I have a Scindapsus pictus. I got this from my local nursery, and it is a little bit on the smaller side. It also doesn't grow very fast. I got it in October, which, you know, it's almost a year ago, and this is the only new leaf that it has been putting out, so I'm not sure if I need to change the soil or give it a little bit more fertilizer or what it needs, but it hasn't lost too many leaves. It just like natural, like maybe once every few months it'll lose a leaf, but I'm not really sure why it's not taking off and why it hasn't been filling out. So hopefully it starts to change, or kind of I experiment a little bit and I'm able to help it out a little bit more. So here I have a Rhabdophora tetrasperma. It is a bit wide. I also do need to repot it because it's pretty root bound, and I think that it would really like it in a bigger pot. I do also want to put a trellis on it so it can grow upward instead of kind of coming out, because it takes up quite a bit of space because it's so wide. It is a little bit hard to store on my shelves. So here I have a heartleaf philodendron. This is a cutting that I got from my bigger one, and I just stuck it in this pot. It has been filling out quite nicely, and it's got a little leg right here that's growing pretty well. It does have another trailing leg in the back, and it does have quite a bit of growth at the top. Overall, I think that it's doing pretty well. I was thinking about sticking some more cuttings in the top to make it a little bit fuller, but I think that it's been doing a nice job lately, and I think that it really doesn't need any more help to fill it out. Thank you for sticking to the end of this video. That is the conclusion of the plant tour. I did show majority of my plants. I wasn't able to show some that are a little bit tricky to get down from their hiding places. It is my first video, so it might be a little bit weird. The transitions might be off, so bear with me. But if you like this video and you'd like to see more plant content, go ahead and subscribe and give this video a like. I do intend on posting once a week, talking about some more, planty things. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.